Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Naomi, and today I'm going to teach you how to progressively get stronger so that you can do Chaturanga with confidence and power and with all the preparation that you need to feel confident and power. Was that repetitive? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, and I have some props. I have chairs at various heights because here's the deal with Chaturanga, right? What tends to get people sort of all tweaked out about Chaturanga is the idea of shoulders sort of going forward, right? The head of your arm bone's coming out of your shoulder socket, okay? Now, that in of itself isn't inherently bad, but the problem with that usually is that it disconnects you from the part of your body, your core, that really needs to be super connected in Chaturanga. So what I want to do today is show you how you can prep your body at various stages so that you can feel totally confident in Chaturanga no matter where you are in that progression. Okay, so just to give you a little reminder of what Chaturanga is, what it looks like, Chaturanga comes from plank pose, right? And you lower down. You can lower as far or stay as high up as you want. And that's it. That is your Chaturanga, right? Your elbows go back, chest goes forward, and you push back up. Okay, in the fitness world, it is called a tricep push-up because instead of your elbows going out to the sides, your elbows pull back, right? So that they're hugged in tight towards your body, right? And your triceps are doing more work than your pecs. Okay, so that's really, you can think of Chaturanga as a tricep push-up if that's the world that you come from. Okay, but if you're working with an injury, if you have like say a wrist injury, or if you have trouble using your core to help you lower down and to lift back up, then it's really important to start at a place where you can work appropriately, okay? Now, the first place that I like to work is actually at a wall. So if you're working at a wall, let's get all that out of the way. If you're working at a wall, you want to start so that your feet are just slightly back behind your hips, and it looks like you're doing plank pose standing. And the idea is that you are hands right where they would be for Chaturanga. So in this case, they're going to be a little bit lower than your shoulders, because if they're at shoulder height, right, you're not doing like a Chaturanga where your forearms are perpendicular to the floor, right? And in Chaturanga, ideally, your forearms are perpendicular to the floor. So here you want it to where your forearms would be perpendicular to the wall. So my wrists are going to be slightly below my shoulders, just slightly. And I'm going to lower toward the wall, resisting a little bit. So as I lower down, I'm actually pushing against the wall and away from the wall as my shoulders go back. And my body is moving all in one piece. Okay, so what tends to happen is like butt goes back, right? Face goes first, that sort of thing, right? So we're like disconnected from core of the body, right? So what you're after is trying to find that connection all the way through. I'm pushing through my feet, pushing through my hands. My body is still all in a line, and I push back. So this is a really great place, and I can feel my triceps working here. This is a really great place to feel your triceps work, because I'm actively pushing at the wall. I'm not letting my belly hang, right? So I'm staying back in my body as I lower. Core of my body is tight and active. Okay, so starting at the wall is a really great way to feel your triceps and your biceps work and to teach your body how to stay all connected, all in one line, okay? Now, the next thing that you would do is find a table or a chair. Like this is one of our breakfast bar chairs. We don't have a kitchen table. We have sort of just a big ledge that that my husband sits at. I sit at the kids' table. It's like very low. I should have brought that out. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to place my hands here. It's a little bit lower. And I'm going to back up. And I want to back up until my body is pretty close to all in one line. Okay, pretty close. So I don't want to start with my butt way back, right? I want to start where I'm already leaning a little bit and the heel of my hands are right at the edge of the chair. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lower down. And here, unlike at the wall, my heels are probably going to come off. Now, what I don't want to do is swing my hips toward the chair. And I don't want to keep my butt back, right? So what I want to do is lower toward the chair, all in one piece, and push back. Lower toward the chair, all in one piece, and push back. And notice that when I'm doing this, my elbows are going straight back, right? And my body is staying all in a line. So my head is staying in line with my hips, in line with my heels. Okay? So working at this height, and again, I'm starting already with my body all in a line, but my arms look like they're more on the diagonal. Okay? And that's because I'm leaning into it. I'm not leaning my hips into it, and I'm not keeping my butt away, right? All in one piece. Okay? So that's at this higher height. And I'm using, again, this higher up chair, but a table would be really good. A countertop would be great. Like anything that it's right about at waist height or a little bit higher is like the next good step down. Okay? So let's get this chair out of the way and move on to the next height. So the next height that I have is, it is a folding chair. So it's a little bit lower than this last one. Same idea is going to be true. I'm going to place my hands close to the edge of the chair. Now, if you have something like this, it's really important to, I didn't note this before, but it's important to make sure that if you're using a folding chair or something that's not as heavy, you want to make sure it's either on your mat or it's pushed up against the wall so it doesn't slide away from you. That's kind of important. And I'm going to step back so my body is pretty much all in a line. So my butt isn't further back than the rest of me. Okay? And press into my hands and fingers. And I also want to say with this, like my fingers are sort of off the chair a little bit so that my hands can be as wide as my shoulders. Okay, that's okay. If I get any closer so that my hands can both be on it evenly, it's going to be hard. Okay, so my hands are as wide as my shoulders. That means my pinky fingers are off. That's fine. Okay, I'm weight bearing less. So I'm going to lower down and push back up. And again, keeping my body all in a line. So I'm not letting down, and I'm not keeping my butt back. Body is all in a line as I lower down and push back. Ooh. And I can still feel that, right? So I might not be all the way on the ground, but I can actually feel really powerfully my core working and my triceps working. And these are the areas that I really want to focus on. Okay, let's move to the next lowest. Okay, and as I stack these up, you can see the difference in height. It would be nice if this was a little bit higher. I just don't have a chair that's slightly lower down than this one. So now I have the chair that my kids used to sit in at their table when they eat food. This one's pretty low down, and it's a little bit more narrow. Okay, so this would be like if you had a bench, or like so whether it's like a workout bench or a bench that you can sit on or something like that. You could certainly use a couch too, although they tend to be kind of soft, which isn't always great. But you want something that's just a little bit off the floor. This is about a foot off the floor. I'm going to place my hands on it, and again, my hands are wider than the width of the chair so that my pinky fingers are going to be off, and my fourth fingers are off. That's okay, because I'm not fully weight bearing. It's not going to do great damage to my body. But I have to walk my feet back, so I'm already in this sort of heightened plank. I lower down and come back up. My body is all in a line, and I come back up. Okay, lower down and come back up. My elbows go back, and I come back up. And the idea, again, is I don't want to swing my hips forward, and I'm not keeping my butt back. It's all in a line, down and back, okay? So you can see the height progression here, right? This smallest one is just a few inches lower, and that's why I say it'd be nice to have one that was a little bit higher for me, right? But this being the highest, and I'm going to do them all in a row so you can just see the difference again, okay? So if I start nice and high up, I want to start with my body all in a line, so I'm not starting close in. I start slightly back, so it looks like I'm already in plank pose. I give my legs a squeeze, and I press through my fingers as much as I can. Hands are as wide as my shoulders because I want it to be just as it would be on the floor. And then I lower in, my heels lift off, I press through my toes, press through my hands, and push back. And I can take my chest all the way to the chair and push back. My elbows go back more than they go out, and I push back. Okay, so this is teaching that action. Now I'm going to go down to the chair that's slightly lower. Hands still as wide as my shoulders. I'm going to start in a plank with my heels down, standing. Elbows bend. I lower and push up. I push through my fingers as much as I can. Elbows lower, pull back, push up. Reach through my heels and my chest as I lower down. Push back up. Okay, and then one more. Going to the smaller one. I'm going to push it back though so it's against the wall because it's not on the my yoga mat anymore. Okay, I'm even going to start here. My heels are lifted, but you can't see, I know, because I'm closer. That's okay. I lower down, push back up, pressing through my fingers. And I'm even here because this is a little bit more narrow. I'm going to take my hands and hold onto the outside, which is fine because the action that I'm going for is lowering down all in one piece and not letting my hips sag or my butt stay back, right? In one piece and back up, okay? And that is how to get ready to do Chaturanga on the floor, right? Keeping your body all in one piece. So instead of lowering your hips, getting all saggy in your core, and pushing back up, or leaving your butt out of it and doing what's sometimes called knees, chest, chin, and is definitely not a variation of Chaturanga. Okay, like knees, chest, chin is usually confused as like a prep for Chaturanga. It's not. Okay, if you're not sure what knees, chest, chin is, knees, chest, chin, right? My knees go down, my chest goes down, and my chin goes down. This is not a prep for Chaturanga, right? There's no core involved there. So all those progressions allow me to get ready to do a tricep push-up or Chaturanga and lift back up. So it's training me how to use my triceps, how to keep my core all in one piece, and how to lengthen through my entire body so that I'm using my entire body instead of using just one little part of it, okay? So hopefully this progression, this chair progression, and using the wall to start gives you an idea of how you can train your body to use your triceps, your core, and your legs to do Chaturanga with strength and power and in a way that feels fully connected instead of disconnected. So let me know how it goes. Let me know in the comments below if you try this. Let me know if it works for you. Let me know if you have any questions about this at all. And on the yoga mat, it is an absolute privilege to share all of this with you. And I look forward to getting back on the mat again with you really soon. Subscribe in that bottom left corner so that you can do yoga with me totally for free every single Sunday when a new class is launched right here, okay? So have a wonderful week and I will see you again really soon. Until then, bye everyone.